Kadian Journal by Thomas Harding, narrated by Thomas Harding.
The wintry garden lies unchanged. The brook into the stream runs on, but the deep-eyed boy is gone. Threnody, Ralph Waldo Emerson. It is not growing like a tree in bulk doth make man better be, or standing long an oak 300 year, to fall a log at last, dry, bald, and sere. A lily of a day is fairer far in May, although it fall and die that night. It was the plant and flower of light. In small proportions we just beauty see, and in short measures life may perfect be. The Noble Nature, Ben Jonson. Part 1. 25th of July, 2012. We are cycling up a narrow country lane to the ridge at the top of the downs. It is early evening. There is not a cloud in the sky. The air is soft and warm after a day of baking sun. There are 6 of us: my 21-year-old nephew Taylor, my sister Amanda and her friend Anne Claire, my 14-year-old son Kadian, his school friend Rory, and me. As Kadian climbs the hill, I call from behind, encouraging him to practice his turning signals. He puts his right arm out, and the bike wobbles in the same direction. "You need to lean to the left when you signal right," I shout from behind. "Try it." He does, and it is marginally better. When I tell him to do it again, he grunts in disgust and, pressing hard on his pedals, pulls away from me up the hill. We are staying at my parents' house in Minell, a village just outside Marlborough in Wiltshire. Our plan is to cycle 10 miles west to my uncle and aunt's thatched cottage for a family dinner. The journey will take us up and across the Marlborough Downs, a chain of grassland chalk hills that separates the county of Oxfordshire in the north from Wiltshire in the south. Along its top runs an ancient footpath known as the Ridgeway, and it is this that we intend to follow. We continue our way up the lane and the vista opens. There is a field filled with golden wheat on our left, another speckled with grazing sheep and Neolithic stones. Below us, a grassy slope drops away to fields etched with terraces. The ringed mounds of ancient hill forts can be seen in the distance. The sun, sitting low in the sky, splashes amber light across the landscape. "It is so beautiful here," Kadian says, as I pull up to him. "It's so beautiful," he repeats with a dreamy smile. We wait for the others to catch up, then head off the lane onto a stony track that descends gently down to a large stack of hay bales. The trail ends abruptly, which is strange. I look at my map, trying to figure out where we have gone wrong. Kadian cycles behind the hay and calls out, "It's over here! The footpath is over here!" Kadian goes first and the rest of us follow. Soon we are riding along a narrow path through a tunnel of trees. Kadian, still in front, calls back, "It's muddy! It's muddy!" in a not very believable but still funny northern accent. The path opens into a broader track. It's a little gravelly, steeper. The gap between myself and Kadian widens. I notice this, the information sliding through my mind without traction as I grasp my brakes to slow my descent. He's suddenly way ahead of me, 100 feet perhaps. He must have gathered speed. And then there's a flash of a white van moving fast from left to right at the bottom of the slope. It shouldn't be there. And the van hits Kadian, driving him away from view, away from me. Moments later, I'm at the road. I drop my bike to the ground. I'm screaming before I see him. He's lying face down on the side of the road, near the white line. His head is tilted to the left. There is a small pool of blood by his mouth. I can't see his bike. He is still. Absolutely still. He doesn't look like Kadian anymore. He looks vacant. He looks like he is 6 or 7 years old. But what strikes me the most, more than the blood, or the lack of movement, are his eyes. His pupils are dilated unnaturally wide. I know he's gone. I know he's dead. I know that I have lost my son. My Kadian. This is real. This is happening. I can't believe it. I'm crouching a few feet from him, wailing, my head in my hands, and wailing. No. 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 I don't want to touch him. I don't want to cradle him in my arms. I want to roll back time. I am both in my body, rocking, howling, and high above, looking down on this dreadful scene, feeling oddly sorry for the father who's just lost his son, suddenly, tragically. I realise that this is the A4, the road running from Marlborough in the east to Avebury in the west, but there is no traffic. Everything has stopped. A man in a dark green RAF flight suit runs up and squats down by Kadian. I don't know where he's come from. Could an ambulance have arrived already? Who would have called them? My brain cannot make sense of this collapsed world. Is it okay if I turn him over? He asks. How am I meant to know? I realise it won't make a difference, but the man's question makes me wonder, is there hope? I nod. Cradling his head, he gently pulls one side of Kadian's body over so that he is staring at the sky. He takes out a phone. He's talking to the emergency services. These images flick through my brain. I notice that I'm not holding him. I notice that I'm not trying to resuscitate him. I notice that I know there's no point. My brain is observing, detached, helplessly trying to catch up. At some point, I remove his black bicycle helmet, thinking that the strap may reduce the airflow to his brain. I'm not sure when I do this. Is it before the man in the green flight suit arrives, or after? Is it before Kadian is turned over? I think it probably is, but I'm not sure. Time has ended. There is only this moment, this spot. My sister arrives. She squats down and holds my head, tight. He's dead, I say to her. He's dead. We don't know that yet, she says. Don't give up hope. I think for the first time about my wife Deborah, of having to tell her. I start wailing again. No. 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 It's been about 2 minutes since the accident. Yet curiously, part of my brain still has hope. I call my uncle. He's a doctor. He might be able to help. My aunt picks up the phone. I tell her what has happened. She does not understand that it is Kadian. But the panic in my voice registers, and she scrambles to find my uncle. I need to call Deb, I say to my sister. Wait, she says. Let's see what happens. No, I need to call her now. She needs to know. It's as though I'm standing at the edge of a well. I am out of my mind. All is quiet. Nothing is moving. I lean towards the deep hole. Something clicks in my head, and I realize that I have to make sure there is someone with Deb when I tell her what has happened. Deb is away in America. She is the CEO of a bicycle business. I call her office in Washington, D.C. I ask to be put through to the general manager, Jin. Hi, Jin. Where's Deb? She's gone out to the post office, I think, says Jin. She's calm. Jin, Kadian has been in a very bad accident. I need you to be there when I tell Deb. Can you find her? I'll call you back in a few minutes. She agrees and says she will have Nate there as well, the young guy who runs the head office. A few minutes later I call again. I am put through. What's going on? It's Deb. I know this voice. It is fear. Everything in my body is screaming not to tell her. What's happened? I'm over the edge now, about to lose my balance. How can I do this to her? I quickly review the options again. Can I delay telling her? Am I being premature? What would I want in this situation? I know what I must do. It's Kadian. What do you mean it's Kadian? He's been in an accident. What kind of accident? His bike. Well, how bad is it? Has he broken an arm? Did he go over the handlebars? It's bad, Deb. It's bad. I can't tell her. Well, how bad is bad? Deb, I say. Is he dead? She asks, her voice louder. I can hear that she's crying. Deb, I say again. Is he dead? I don't know, I finally say. It's bad, Deb. It's bad. Where are you? She asks. We're at the roadside waiting for an ambulance. Who are you with? She is trying to fill in the details. I'm with Amanda and Taylor. Is Sam with you? No. And then the phone cuts out. I have lost reception. Sam. Our daughter Sam. Where is she? I have no idea. Perhaps she is with my parents. How am I going to tell her? I hand the phone to my sister who tries to call Deb back. I tell her that we need to find someone to be with her. A close friend. Someone who can bring her home. And then I realize how long it will be till she arrives. It is just past 6 in the evening. Even if she catches the next flight, she won't be here until 6 or 7 the next morning. I can't believe she isn't with us now. I can't believe that she has to wait, that I can't comfort her. I am now sitting on the curb. Kadian is still lying on the black tarmac, 30 feet away. The ambulance arrives. 3 men walk towards him, very slowly. They lift him into the ambulance and close the doors. There is a finality about this. He is there, I am here. A policeman walks up to me and introduces himself. He tells me his name, P.C. James Trafford. He looks young, nervous, unsure. I am so sorry, he enunciates slowly, as though speaking to a foreigner. I won't trouble you now, but at some point I will need to gather some details. My sister steps up and says that she can provide all the information he needs. The 2 of them walk a few steps away, Trafford taking notes in a small black book. A bright orange medevac helicopter arrives. It lands on the A4, its rotors beating the air. The helicopter paramedics walk to the ambulance. Soon after this, my uncle arrives. I ask him to find out what's going on. He steps away and returns a few minutes later and says that they are doing all they can. I look up to my right and for the first time I see the white van parked 100 feet up the road. Between the van and the curb sits a young man, with short curly hair, perhaps in his 20s. He is by himself, staring at the ground. Is that the driver? I ask my nephew. I think so, he says. I stand up and walk towards him. My nephew tries to stop me, but I tell him it's okay. P.C. Trafford now hurries after me, but I get to the driver first. The driver turns as I approach and stands up. I put out my hand. I'm not sure if he will take it. He does. I am the father, I say, oddly calm, in control. I just want you to know it was not your fault. The driver looks at me, doesn't move. I turn and leave before he has a chance to respond. I have said what I needed to say. Kadian is still in the ambulance with the doctors. I close my eyes and speak to him. If you can hear me, Cades, I say, come back. I know you can do it. Come back. I repeat this mantra in my head 100 times. Come back, Cades. You can do it. Come back. I am gripped by a strong urge to talk to him. I am compelled. It is more than a sense that I have nothing to lose. I feel a vibrant connection with him. I pace up and down the road, from the ambulance to the van, then back to the ambulance again. An oval of prayer. At some point, I see Kadian's helmet at the side of the road. Did I put it there? I pick it up and clutch it as I walk back and forth. Nobody interferes with me. I am grateful for this space. It feels sacred. I'll walk like this alone, waiting, empty. I had never wanted a child. I just didn't see myself as a father. My life was too busy. There was too much that needed to be done. It was the spring of 1997, and Deb and I were living in Oxford, where we helped run a radical video production company called Undercurrents. Reporting the news you don't see on the news, we supported an army of video activists who recorded protests up and down the country. Environmentalists who lived in trees hoping to stop a road being built. A group of women who were sent to prison for hammering on an aeroplane carrying nuclear warheads. Animal rights campaigners breaking into laboratories. Grandmothers who complained about obnoxious fumes emitted by a nearby aluminium factory. I was away from home a great deal, filming my own stories or running video training workshops. I stayed up late editing. Our house was always full of colourful characters. Our incomes were well below the poverty line. I had been arrested for filming protests in England, the USA, Brazil and Spain. I was too busy to be a father, too irresponsible. By this stage, we had been married for 5 years, and we were tired of being asked when we were going to have kids. Sometimes we told people that we had established a group called Couples Against Kids. One day, I met my cousin James for lunch, and the conversation turned to parenthood. I patiently listed all the reasons why I didn't want to have children, and he smiled understandingly and asked, "So, what would you say if Deb told you she was pregnant?" I paused. "That would be fantastic." "Well, there you go." A month later, Deb told me it was time. I pride myself on being rational, logical. Yet there was no question in my mind that she had formed a connection to this thing, this presence. There is a video of us from this time. Deb is dressed in an olive-coloured jumpsuit, sitting in a grey and purple paisley wingback chair that we had picked up from a dump. Giggling with anticipation, she tells me, the cameraman, that she is about to take a pregnancy test. She talks in a baby voice, sweet, innocent, full of light. She then grabs the camera and points it at me. "Go on," she encourages. "Talk. It will be so great if we can all watch this in the future." Feigning coyness, I resist for a while, as though I'm embarrassed to meet my future child. But I relent, of course. Pulling a sheet of paper from my pocket, I read a poem that I'd written earlier that day about the pregnancy test. The camera wobbles, and I speak, slowly, nervously. This is my big test. Can I be who I need to be? It seems like the biggest decision of my life, and yet the decision has already been taken. "Okay," Deb says when I've finished. "Let's do it." I take the camera again and follow her towards the bathroom. The camera shakes, the pine floor sweeps across the viewfinder, a flush can be heard, and then a white plastic stick is held in front of the camera. There is one line. "It takes a minute," Deb says off camera. Still nothing. Perhaps it was all going to be a great disappointment. Then something appears. A faint blue line, and now it's stronger. Deb shrieks with joy, and the camera looks around. She is not there. Then she is, dancing up and down. "We're going to have a baby," she shouts. "We're going to have a baby." I join in the ecstatic chant. "We're going to have a baby." He is wearing a bright orange jumpsuit, made of a thick fabric. Perhaps it is waterproof. With reflective stripes on the shoulders, reinforced padding on the elbows and knees, and a walkie-talkie attached to his chest. His face is thick with perspiration. Beads of sweat drip from his nose and chin. He crouches down next to me. What would cause a man to sweat like this? I wonder to myself. Could resuscitation be this exhausting? It is warm outside, but not that warm. It couldn't be much hotter in the ambulance. I know what this is. I have seen it enough times on TV. "He's dead, isn't he?" I ask. "We did all that we could," says the man in the orange suit. "For an hour we tried to bring him back. I'm very sorry to say," he pauses, "that we were not successful. So that is it. I have just been told that my son is dead. My 14-year-old son, Kadian. I had known it from the first moment, but some small part of me had retained hope. All I can do is shake my head. Left and right. Left and right. I must speak to Deb. Ever since I had first spoken to her, she has been on the phone, trying to stay calm, holding on to hope. She has heard the helicopter arriving. She was given regular updates on Kadian's condition. She has discussed which hospital Kadian would be taken to. She still hopes that he will survive. After a few attempts, I am able to get through to her. "It's me," I say. "I've just spoken to one of the medical people." I stop for just a few more seconds, and then I say it. "He's dead, Deb. They've declared he's dead." And then she screams and screams. I keep the phone to my ear. This is real. This is happening. I am numb. Then a voice. "Hi, Thomas, it's Nate. What shall I do?" I can still hear the screaming, a long, continuous, guttural scream of pain. But it is distant now. Perhaps Nate has walked to another room. "Nate, you're going to have to figure it out." And I hand the phone to someone. I cannot remember who. I want to keep the line open. The helicopter leaves. It is no longer needed. Now I am falling. And I know the falling won't stop. I am plummeting headfirst down the shaft of a bottomless black whale. Waves of madness shoot through my body. This is beyond pain. I'm sobbing uncontrollably. I am now in a very deep, dark place, like the inside of a theatre, without light, without chairs, small and alone. The only thing I can hear is a buzzing sound in my ears. I let go. Someone, my nephew maybe, is holding me. I have never been held this tight before. This is more than a hug. This is being clasped to sanity, to humanity. My uncle crouches down next to me, touches me on the arm. "Do you want to see Kadian?" he asks. I don't. Why would I want to? I have seen him on the ground. The idea of seeing him inside the cramped ambulance, with its gurney and stethoscope and syringes and sterile light, fills me with terror. "I don't think so," I say. "Sometimes people in these situations find it helpful," he says. People in these situations. My mind tries to make sense of this sentence. There are situations like this? How can that be possible? How can there be more of this? I am unsure, but I trust my uncle. He's a good doctor, and I love him. I walk towards the ambulance, wondering if there will be anyone inside. Wanting there to be, not wanting there to be. The doors are closed. I twist the handle and step into the vehicle. He is alone, a cream-colored blanket covering his body, his head absolutely still. His face is paler than it should be, his body unmoving. My boy, who had only moments before been full of life and beauty, humor and kindness, is lying dead on this bed. I cannot touch him. I cannot look at him. I turn and push my way out of the ambulance and stumble into the open. The birth was a bit of a disaster. Our house in Oxford was tiny. It was a 2-bedroom Victorian terrace with a spiral staircase twisting up from the ground floor. But we'd made it our own. We had a womb room painted scarlet red with matching scarlet velvet curtains, a scarlet armchair and sofa, along with a black hairdryer that had been turned into a standing light. There was a black room where Deb had coated the walls with black enamel. We wouldn't be thanked by the next buyers, with a life-size painting of the goddess Artemis on one wall and a series of jumping dolphins on another. As soon as we knew we were pregnant, and it was always we who were pregnant, much to the amusement of my family and friends, we knew that we wanted the birth to be as natural as possible. "I want to feel the whole thing," Deb told me bravely. "I don't want to be off my head on drugs when my baby comes into the world." We tackled the birth as we would any new experience. We bought lots of books and were supremely confident that all would go according to plan. Our doctor had even told us that Deb would be up and about within a few hours of the birth. It was around 11 o'clock at night on the 28th of January, 1998, when Deb's waters broke. She was asleep at the time. We were staying at my parents' house in London. After a quick goodbye, we climbed into our car and drove the hour and a half back to Oxford. At 3 o'clock in the morning, about 4 hours into labour, Deb decided to take a hot bath in our sauna-like pine-clad bathroom. I helped light some candles around the bath's edge, and then, thinking that I'd need a good place to sit, I attempted to bring our large wing-backed armchair up the spiral staircase, but it wouldn't fit. So, in my state of high anxiety, I began unscrewing all the bolts holding the rail in place, hoping that this would provide enough space to squeeze the chair through. Half an hour later, the rail was hanging limply to one side. We never were able to bolt it back correctly, and the chair would still not fit, so I gave up trying. Instead, I tried to carry a large lamp upstairs to make sure we had plenty of light during the birth. On the way up, I stumbled, bumped my head, and dropped the lamp, which shattered on the stairs. "Ah!" I shouted. "I'm bleeding!" Deb called out in concern from the bathroom, a contraction hitting her at the same time. I told her it was fine, nothing to worry about. She said she thought it might be time to get out of the bath. Leaving the glass on the stairs, I went into the bathroom and grabbed a towel to help her out. But I'd forgotten about the candles around the bath edge, and as I went to wrap the towel around my pregnant wife's body, she screamed, "It's on fire! The towel's on fire!" After that, we decided that it might be better if I waited downstairs until the midwife came. The labour itself was hard and long. After 14 hours, we gave up on our home delivery plan and were happy to be transferred to the Radcliffe Infirmary, our local hospital. We were quickly admitted and moved into a birthing room. Deb was exhausted and in agony and asking for pain relief. The doctor refused. He said that it was too late for an epidural. I knew that there were other choices, such as nitrous oxide, which he wasn't offering. I felt a wave of tremendous anger surge through my body. I hated this man for hurting my wife, for putting my child in jeopardy. I wanted to punch him in the face. I had never had this feeling before, blind rage, raw aggression towards another person. I knew it would be counterproductive to take a swing at him. I wasn't even sure I would connect, as I had never hit anyone before in my life, but the urge gripped me. Later, when I was at home and I told a friend about my feelings, she said that I looked different somehow, not just because I was a father, but because I was a father who was compelled to protect his wife and child. When at last Kadian was pulled out, with a device that looked like a toilet plunger, and I do seem to remember there was actually a popping noise. His head was huge, 97th percentile for skull size, purple and cone-shaped. I was shocked, a little grossed out, but totally in love. The nurse took him to one side, carried out a few basic tests, and handed him back to Deb. I have never seen my wife so happy. She glowed with love. She was a mother. I was a father. We had a beautiful baby boy. Why did this happen? We had been cycling down the hill, laughing, calling out to each other. A family out on a bike ride, a day to remember. There had been no threat, no sign of danger, no cause for concern. How was this possible? Kadian was an experienced cyclist. Nobody else had difficulty stopping in time. He must have seen the road ahead. he was at least 300 feet away from the intersection when he had first emerged from the trees.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?